All right, I had a couple of friends ask me, how do you like DoorDash? Well, I really like it. It is such an easy way to make extra money. It's just neat. I go out when I feel like it. I don't have a boss telling me what to do. I don't have to punch a time clock. And I go out when I feel like it. If I want to go out for an hour, I go out for an hour. If I want to go out for 2 hours, I go out for 2 hours. If I decide to stay out there for 5 or 8 hours, I do the same thing. Again, right now I'm averaging, I've been doing it about 5 months, I'm averaging about $13 an hour. Now, I've been a warehouse manager my whole career, just about, and also assistant vice president at a bank. So I made way more money than $13 an hour. But for something to do on the side when I'm retired, I can't ask for a better gig than this. I mean, this is just great. Again, I go out when I feel like it, and I work as much as I want to or as little as I want to. You can't beat it. Yes, there's some frustrations that I had with deliveries and orders, and sometimes I'm concerned about with driver support from DoorDash, but all in all, this has been a great little thing, and I like it. So I'm going to keep doing it, and I would recommend it to anybody. So if you want a DoorDash, think about it. It's not bad. Question I had, do you get tips for making deliveries? Yes, we do. Now, most of the tips are given to you through the app. Just like Uber, if you want to tip a Uber driver, you can tip him through the app, or you can tip him, I believe, personally. But with DoorDash, it's the same thing. You can tip in the app. I think it gives you options for 10, 15, 20% tip or others. But I do get cash tips every once in a while, maybe $2 to $5 when somebody feeling generous to give you a tip. I think one of the big problems with these orders is that they don't tip you like they would do at a restaurant, because they're paying a premium to have the food delivered to them. So I believe in a lot of customers' mind that the tip is already included in the price they're paying for that food to be delivered to their house. But it's not. So we get so much per delivery, and I think it has a lot to do on your total miles that you have between the restaurant and the customer's house on how much you get for each delivery. Again, when they're very, very busy, they're offering bonuses, so that really helps everything out. But tip-wise, remember, if you don't tip in the app, we don't get tips. We only get the price that we would normally get for delivering that order to your house. What is the biggest tip I ever got? Well, I had a $155 order at a breakfast restaurant. You can probably guess at it. The first name is Bob. But I had a $155 order, and I sat there for 45 minutes, which I was pretty upset, because when you're sitting there waiting for food to get ready, you're not making any money. But I was very amazed. I think I got $11 or $12 for the delivery, but I got $35 tip from the customer. It was through the app, but he tipped me the whole 20%. So that was a great, great tip for that day. And I made a nice little chunk of change for that day. Most unusual order that I ever had. Believe it or not, I had a $1.07 delivery for Coke from McDonald's to a customer's house. I received $5.67 for the delivery. Again, it was $1.07 medium Coke from McDonald's. Well, if you know the customer paid $1.07 for the Coke, and I made my portion, DoorDash as a company made a portion of that. So let's say that customer probably paid $10 to receive a $1.07 Coke at their house. I'm not going to complain because I got money for it, but it's totally unusual. My biggest headaches in delivering orders to a customer house. Well, one time I had 3 orders to Bob Evans, breakfast place, and which is great. You make one stop, you pick up 3 different customers' orders. I picked up those orders. I made my first delivery to the customer's house, and in between time, I received 2 more delivery requests, and they both was at Starbucks. No problem. I accepted those jobs. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm getting a lot of jobs. Now I have 4 on the docket. I already delivered 1, and I got 4 left, 2 for Bob Evans and 2 for Starbucks. Well, after I delivered that first Bob Evans order, it told me to go to Starbucks and pick up those other 2 deliveries, which was really strange because I had 2 hot meals in my car that has not been delivered to Bob Evans. So that's been one of my biggest frustrations on what do you do, because now I had 2 Bob Evans customers texting me saying where's their food at, but I'm on my way to Starbucks to pick up an order that, some coffee or some, iced coffee. So that was frustrating because the customers look at me as the problem and not how I received the orders and what Doordash did and how we deliver those orders. Now, my second biggest frustration order that I ever had is I had 3 deliveries. They was also at breakfast places. I think 2 was at IHOPs and 1 was at Bob Evans. They're right across the street from each other, so I picked up all 3 orders. My first order took me 4 miles away to a financial company. No problem. Quick delivery, dropped it off. My second order brought me right back from less than a quarter of a mile from where I picked up the breakfast foods from. So the routing was messed up. My first drop-off should have been that second order. Now, get this, my third order was right back to the same financial company that I dropped the first order off. That was very frustrating. So I ended up driving 12 miles when I could have drove just 4 miles and dropped off all 3 orders. And you don't know that when you're doing the app. So my first and third order, you may say, why didn't you just drop off your third order with the first order? You don't know that until you clear out that one delivery. So that's been my first and second most frustrating orders ever. The top order I like picking up from, or I should have said top restaurant I like picking up from, Chick-fil-A has got to be number 1. They're very efficient. When you go in as a DoorDash driver, they take special care in attending to you. They get your order ready and you're out of there pretty quick, unless it's really, really busy. But all in all, you're in and out of there in 3 to 5 minutes. My second best is Chipotle's. They're very efficient. Sometimes when you go in, the order's already ready. When you get there, it doesn't take no more than 3 to 5 minutes to get the food from Chipotle's, and you're on your way. So those are my 2 top restaurants that I like picking up from. What is my least favorite restaurant? I don't really have a real bad one, but the one, Bob Evans, on a Sunday morning is pretty busy, and it's not their fault. The place is packed. People are coming there before they go to church on Sunday, or some of them are there after they attended church on Sunday, and it's really busy. And then you got all these DoorDash orders coming in because people are sleeping in too on a Sunday, and sometimes you may sit there for 10 to 15 minutes. And as a driver, when you're sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes, all you can think about is like, I'm getting stuck here. I'm not making any money. I need to pick up the food, drive it to the customer's house so I can get my next order. Therefore, I can make more money per hour. So again, all in all, Bob Evans is not bad, but a Sunday and sometimes Saturday for breakfast is terrible. And DoorDash to other people, absolutely. I really like it. It is such an easy and flexible way to make extra money on the side. Some people do it as a full-time job, and you can do that. So if you work 40 hours a week doing this, you can make $700-800 a week. Again, that's a nice bit of change for some people, and some people, oh, that's not enough money for me. But it's so much flexibility in it. Again, here's an option where you can work 8 hours a day and you don't even think about it. So you can work a couple hours in the morning, let's say from 8 to 10 o'clock during breakfast time. You can work 2 to 3 hours at lunchtime, and then you can put in 4 hours for dinner time. Dinner time is where the money is, but it's so easy and so flexible to make extra money on the side. So yes, I would recommend it. Do I work for DoorDash? Yeah, in a sense, I represent DoorDash, but really I'm an independent contractor that I work on my own. This is, in a way, is my business. Yes, DoorDash gave me the opportunity to work, and again, I still feel like I'm working for them because I want to represent them nicely and professionally to their customers. It means better business for them and more jobs for all the drivers out there. So I want to carry myself in a way that I will represent DoorDash properly, and I want to carry myself in a way where the customers think, hey, that's a guy I don't mind deliver my food to me. But you have to keep track of your salary. They'll send you the 99 at the end of the year, but you can keep track of your mileage, because doing tax purposes, you can write off your mileage and I believe your maintenance to your car. So I would do it, and I would recommend it to anybody. What is the biggest thing that amazed me about food delivery? Well, the biggest thing that amazed me about food delivery, that people are paying extra money to have food delivered to their house. The other biggest thing is that I have noticed that there are food deliveries all the way up to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not just talking about the weekends when people are out having fun and they go home and now they're hungry. I'm talking about during the week. I have looked on my phone or my app, my DoorDash app, and noticed that there's still deliveries out there at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock during the week. I'm guessing some drivers is out there driving at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not saying I would never do that, but it would be very rare if I ever did it. So that's the one thing that amazed me more than anything, that there's drivers out there and there's orders out there and there's people having food delivered at midnight, 1 o'clock. To a certain extent, I kind of understand that on the weekends. Let's say you go to a bar. I'll just use that for example. You go to a bar, you get out of the bar at 1 o'clock, and maybe you took an Uber back home because, you had a couple of drinks. Well, now you don't want to jump in your car and go get food. So whatever little restaurant that's still open at that time of night, you have some food delivered because you're hungry. We all been there before, and we have done that as far as eating late at night, not necessarily having food delivered. So I find that a little strange, but sometimes it's understandable.